and the favorites to win it again. Kawhi and the Clippers are still chasing them at number 2. The Sixers are the top team in the East, but the superstar trio in Brooklyn are climbing. Max Kellerman, who's under the most pressure to knock off LeBron and the Lakers?
Kevin Durant, clearly. I mean, when KD got to Brooklyn with Kyrie, the mandate was to get to the finals at least. But then they added James Harden. James Harden, who, by the way, rolled out of bed, showed up fat and out of shape, and gave him 30 points, a triple-double with 30 points. I mean, game 1, and was winning with KD. And then the question was Kyrie even going to be there? Is he self-destructing? And then Kyrie's back. I mean, if you have an MVP with another MVP and a third all-star plus kind of player, that is a big 3. And in fact, it's a big 3 in the absence of any other big 3 in the league. There's no other big 3 in the league. You know what happens when you put a big 3 together and there's no other big 3? You got to at least get to the finals. That's the history of the NBA. Got to get to the finals. Now, you could say, well, KD already beat LeBron in the finals, but everyone knows what that was. LeBron James led a team against a 73-win Warriors team, went to Oracle on the road, wins a Game 7 against the same team that had just beaten a loaded Thunder team that KD was on. KD and the Warriors looked at each other and said, this LeBron dude, got together, and at that point, everyone in the world knew there's nothing you could do to stop him. It's not a level playing field. It's impossible to beat that team. So what? KD has 2 wins in the finals over LeBron. There's no way not to on that Warriors team. This is different. Now KD's like, okay, watch this. He made a courageous decision. I'm going to go somewhere, put together a team like LeBron does, and meet this dude head on. You have James Harden and Kyrie Irving, and you're Kevin Durant, who joined the 73-win team to beat LeBron. There is no more pressure on any player to knock LeBron off his throne than there is on Kevin Durant.
Max Kellerman, I don't at this point disagree with you. I know I'm supposed to, but I don't at this point disagree with you, particularly since James Harden arrived. What I would tell you, however, because James Harden arrived and they had won 2 straight, and James Harden was averaging 34 and did the triple-double, and him and KD came out the blocks vibing, and then Kyrie came back and they lost back-to-back games to Cleveland, even though he was averaging, he's averaging 28 points a game. He averaged 37.5 in those 2 games. He shot twice as much as James Harden. What I would say to you is that I don't disagree with you about Kevin Durant, but I can't let Kawhi Leonard off the hook, y'all. I really, really have a problem. And don't get me wrong, I don't mean have a problem. Kawhi's a good guy. Kawhi's a star. He plays on both ends of the floor. I'm only speaking in purely basketball sense. Kawhi is in L.A. Kawhi came to L.A. as a champion out of Toronto saying, there's a new sheriff in town. They marketed Kawhi Leonard as being the new sheriff in town. You had the king's crown dangling from his convertible, okay, driving down the highway in L.A., knowing LeBron was in town. That's what you came to town to say. That's what you came to town to claim, okay? And then LeBron answered the call. They handled their business in the first 2 rounds. They went to the conference finals, was waiting for you. You had a 3-1 lead. You lost to the Denver Nuggets. I'm sorry, I can't let Kawhi Leonard off the hook. Kawhi Leonard is a superstar in this game as a player. He's not superstar box office, but he's a superstar as a player. You in the same town, playing in the same arena. You got the Clippers to make all these concessions so you can have your man Paul George, who's giving you 23 a night, by the way. You averaging 26 a game, 26, 5, and 5, shooting better than 50% from the field. Y'all on a 7-game winning streak. Y'all 13 and 4 on the season. This is what you bringing to the table. I can't be looking at Kevin Durant in Brooklyn and just gloss over the fact that Kawhi Leonard was. That's why Steve Ballmer and Lawrence Frank and at the time Doc Rivers and everybody went all in on this move. And all of a sudden, because James Harden arrives in Cleveland, we got to ignore Kawhi Leonard and what the hell you supposed to bring to the table before the final.
Well,
I got news for you, Max. Correct me if I'm wrong. Somewhat rhetorical question. If LeBron and them can't get past the Clippers, there ain't no finals for LA, right? So KD wouldn't have that much to worry about, right? And ain't there somebody that's supposed to be standing in LeBron's way to prevent him from being in the NBA Finals? Isn't that supposed to be Kawhi Leonard? That's all I'm saying.
By the way, you said, I know you meant Brooklyn. You said Cleveland. You meant Harden.
I meant Brooklyn.
But let's talk about that for a second. I respect what you're saying because Kawhi was the guy who threw down the challenge. LeBron was like, come play with me. And Kawhi said, no, I'm coming for you, and didn't even hold up his end of the deal by getting there. And he did not play well in Game 7, particularly late in the game. I'm not letting him off the hook either.
He was off the
but we have to be honest
the whole
about
second half.
Kawhi, until that moment, Kawhi was once again magnificent in the playoffs. Until that Game 7, he was the Finals MVP, who was the best player in the playoffs by far last year, without LeBron, or 2 years ago without LeBron in the league. Came back and was magnificent, but he choked in that Game 7. I'm not letting him off the hook for that either. But who's he playing with? Like, he's on a real good team, and Paul George's a real good player. But Paul George ain't an MVP. Forget about the fact that Paul George doesn't show up in the playoffs. Paul George ain't KD. Like, LeBron's playing with AD. That would be like if Kawhi played with KD. Give Kawhi KD and now let's talk. Or if you want to look at KD, who I'm saying there's more pressure on, and I know you agree with that, to beat LeBron, even though you're not letting Kawhi off the hook. I get it. KD is playing with Harden and Kyrie. Give Kawhi Steph Curry and Damian Lillard, or Steph Curry and someone on that level. That's what KD's got. That's not what Kawhi's got. Let's not get it bent, Stephen A. Let's not get it twisted. LeBron's got AD. KD's got Harden and Kyrie. And the fact of the matter is,
I'm not disagreeing.
This dude, Kawhi, has Paul George, who's not on those guys' levels, Harden or AD. He's not on their level, but especially under pressure.
You would have a point if they didn't lose a 3-1 lead to the Denver Nuggets and give up 40 to Jamal Murray in Game 7. It ain't just about Kawhi on the offensive end. Kawhi Leonard was known as one of the elite defenders. None of them wanted a part of Jamal Murray. He dropped 40. In a Game 7. At the same time, they disappeared. I'm sorry, I can't let Kawhi Leonard off the hook on that. You in L.A. for a reason. Handle your business. We want to see LeBron versus Kawhi Leonard. Where's that confrontation? Kawhi Leonard owes us that. LeBron doesn't. He held up his end of the bargain. Where's Kawhi? Where is he? That's what I want to see before you get to KD.
All right, according to Caesars in Vegas, Lakers have the best odds, followed by the Nets and the Clippers. Speaking of the Lakers, no one embodied